crypto billionaire Sam Bankman-Fried is doubling down on his embrace of effective altruism. I spoke with Sam earlier this month where he alluded to his plans to give most of his fortune away. Take a listen.
When you think about yourself personally, about spending money on yourself, how much can you spend usefully on yourself, right? You can buy nice food. You're talking about hundreds of thousands a year, right? You can get to millions a year with like fancy things, but like after the 10th car, it's not clear what you're doing, right? Like it's hard to spend more than millions a year in like an effective way on yourself, even if you really wanted to.
Of crypto exchange FTX, continuing that conversation over at the crypto conference in the Bahamas. That is where we find Yahoo Finance's David Hollerith. So David, this is something that he's talked about so much that he's really in crypto so that he can give the money away, essentially finding an avenue where you can make the most money to give away the most. What more has he talked about at the conference?
Yeah, Akiko, just a little background on Sam Bankman-Fried. Two, I think, pieces of his origin story, we'll say, has been one that he sort of had his experience in traditional finance as an arbitrager. Sort of the famous way he made his money in cryptocurrency was, back when the markets were a little bit less institutionally driven, he found that the price difference on a cryptocurrency exchange in Korea and another one in the US was so that he could just buy Bitcoin on one exchange and sell it at another. And he made millions of dollars in the span of something like, several weeks doing just that trade. So that's sort of like his, a crypto story. And the other one is effective altruism, which we've touched on. He's fully committed to giving millions and now billions of dollars to charities. So over 2021, he gave about $50 million in charities. And this year, FTX, I say FTX, the cryptocurrency exchange, and sort of Sam interchangeably. Obviously, they're not necessarily, but they are tied as it is. He has founded the company, and he is the CEO. And FTX is committed to giving $1 billion next year in charity donations. And at the conference, I think the interesting thing that we've seen has been he took the stage with FTX's global fashion and luxury partnerships head, Lauren Remington Platt, along with Brazilian supermodel Gisele Bündchen, to announce a luxury campaign that's going to be featured in the June issues of Vogue, GQ, Vanity Fair, and The New Yorker. And sort of the two models being featured in this are Gisele and Sam. Which is they make a interesting duo. Sam, I just saw him walking around. He wears a t-shirt and shorts. Gisele, obviously a famous supermodel, but they both share a very common love and passion for effective giving, especially in terms of sustainability and battling climate change. And that's sort of the focus of this magazine feature launch, is sort of to generate appeal around this campaign. It sort of is interesting in all of the context of this conference, which he's put on with SALT, which is sort of goes back to sort of this ethos that is coming across from most crypto companies, is that a lot of these people, some of the best talent in the world, some of the fastest growing companies, yeah, they all sort of stand around this passion of thinking that if you are passionate in something, you can essentially do whatever you want. And I think that's sort of a part of the millennial and Gen Z ethos as well. And that's sort of, Sam kind of embodies that from here on out. So it's this whole effective altruism thing is something that's not really talked about in the markets, but it's a big part of Sam and FTX, and it's been on display a lot during the conference.
David, I'm not convinced you're doing a lot of work in the Bahamas. Are you going to get to stay there through the weekend?
No, I'm actually flying out this afternoon. But I'm sure I'll find time. I was actually speaking with, I won't say which company he's from, but I was trying to set up an interview with somebody today. And we're talking later today. I wanted to talk earlier in the morning. And he said something along the lines of, yeah, I'm going to be at the water park around that time. So I'm not sure if I can catch the interview, so we'll have to go later. So I thought that was interesting. Plenty of people having fun here.
It's the Bahamas. I wouldn't hate on that. David, thanks so much for all your coverage there. And of course, you can read all his stories from that conference on our site. David Hollerith joining us from the Bahamas.